Hello, today we're gonna be discussing an introduction to composition in C++. So to make a practical example, what we're gonna use today for our main example for our classes with composition, we're gonna be talking about KFC, which is it's a brand, it's a franchise which sells chicken, fried chicken and chips, cold drinks and stuff. So if you look at KFC, they have a lot of meals that they offer. So today we're gonna be talking about fully loaded meal. It's a fully loaded box meal. So how does KFC fully loaded relates to classes and composition? So what happens with composition? If you wanna take composition, you have to take it as ingredients. So to make it more practical for you, we use composition as composition is ingredients that will help us make something up. So for here, like what we're using today, it's for you to better understand composition, you have to take composition as ingredients that will add up to make the fully loaded box meal. That's why we use there as a relationship. So fully loaded has ingredients. So everything here is pointing towards the left. So to show you what I'm talking about, this is the fully loaded box meal. So when you look at the fully loaded box meal, it includes chips, it includes Coke, it includes the KFC soup and also a burger. So if you look at all those objects that are in there, so those objects are classes, they are on their own. So the burger is, if you look at the picture again, if I can take it back, the burger is made separately, the soup is made separately, the chips are made separately, and the chicken is made separately, even the Coke is made separately. So if you look there, but all of them, they make what? They make the fully loaded box meal. So if you want to take a more look at the KFC fully loaded box meal, ingredients, take composition as ingredients. There are things we need in order to make up the fully loaded box meal. So what ingredients do we have on that box? So we have chips. So chips is a class on its own because chips is not the fully loaded box meal, but is included in the fully loaded box meal. So we have chips class, we have soup class, we have class, then we also have chicken class, and lastly we have Coke class. So at the beginning, so the fully loaded box, it's a class on its own, but the fully loaded box, it includes chips class, it includes soup class, it includes burger class, it includes chicken class, it includes Coke. So we can't have a fully loaded meal without chips. We can't have a fully loaded meal without soup. We can't have a fully loaded meal without a burger or a chicken or a Coke. So for a more practical example, what we can do is that I can show you all the classes individually. So if you look at the top, we have the class chips class. So chips on their own have their own, if you can make up the chips class. So what do we need for chips? We need salt. So we might have salt. So on the variables, we might have int salt for the chips class. That okay, we need how much salt do we need in the chips? Then what else? We need potatoes. Int the number of potatoes to make all these chips. So there's int potatoes, and also int time. They solely need time. Okay, how long do they make their own chips? These chips. So the chips class on its own has its own variables, but the chips class is not what? It's not a fully loaded, but the fully loaded has what? Has chips class. So it has chips class. So the next thing that we can look at, we have Coke. If you can look at Coke, Coke is under this class, it's under the Coke class. We need the plastic size. So is the size of the plastic. So okay, what size of this thing? Is it large? Is it medium? Is it small? So you need that size. Also, what do we need in the Coke class? So in the Coke class, what else you need? You need ice. Ice. Okay, how many ice cubes should we put in the Coke? And also making the Coke, they also need Coke itself from Coca-Cola, because this Coke is the one that you find at KFC. So this one is categorized. So they also need Coke to make up the Coke class. So they need to buy Coke also to make up the Coke there. So after that, we also have the Coke. We have the soup class. So under the soup, what makes up the KFC soup? They have ingredients. They also have what? Ingredients. For sure, those ingredients need water to make up the soup. And then also they need heat temp. Like for how many degrees should they heat it? Is it 100 degrees Celsius or a different temperature? So they also need the temperature for how long they want to heat the soup. Then lastly, we have the chicken class. So chicken, what they need is they need spice to make up the chicken. They also need the drumsticks. So they also need the drumsticks. So to make up the chicken, they need all those two things in the class. They also need temperature for how long they should heat it for, temperature and time to make the chicken. So time, so that's the time class. And then lastly we have the burger. So if you can look at the burger, what it needs at the end of the day, it also needs, so there's more than one inherited composition on these classes. It also needs the chicken class. If you can check, there's chicken there at the center, so we need chicken. So we need chicken in the burger class. So that's composition. It's ingredients to make a burger. You see, we have chicken, we have lettuce. They also put cheese and the bun at the top. So that's basically composition, that okay, those are the things we need to make up something. Those are the ingredients. So if you take composition as ingredients, that will be a better way to understand it. That okay, we need what? We need cheese. We need the buns. We also need lettuce. So yeah, those are the things that make up, those are the ingredients that make up the fully loaded box meal. So if you can look here, if you go back to the fully loaded box meal, all those classes, they make up the fully loaded box meal. But look at something. A fully loaded box meal is not a burger. A fully loaded box meal is not a soup. A fully loaded box meal is not chips, and it's not Coke or the chicken. So if you can look at composition, it's an ingredient to make up the thing. If you look at, for example, if we go to the UJ image, so UJ image is an image. Then UJ image contains what? What are the ingredients that makes up an image? Okay, what are the ingredients for an image? So if you take the word ingredients, we can look at the ingredients that make up a UJ image. What makes up an image? An image has shape, so that's why you might have UJ image, like a shape class. Then an image has what? It has color. But look at something here. Shape is not an image, but an image has shape. If you look at this image is not a shape, but this image has a shape. It has a shape. Okay, if it's a shape, we can say it's a square, because if you look at this, I think all the sides are equal, so you can say this is a square. But this image is not a shape, but it's a squared image. And then the color, we have white, we have red, we have brown, we have red, we have yellow and brown. So this color is not what? It's not an image, but this image has color. This image has red, this image has yellow, this image is brown, has black from the Coke. So if you look at UJ image, an image has ingredients. So what is composition? Composition, on my definition, that is more simple. Ingredients that make up a class, which is an object. So basically, for learning code, what you need to do is that you need to understand code with practical examples, because you can't understand code with using examples that you don't know. But let's say the one I used here, I used KFC fully loaded box meal. I'm sure everyone knows about it, and I think it's about 60 rand from KFC. So if you look at this box meal, it has what? Ingredients that makes up a fully loaded class. So our definition for composition that we will talk about, it's ingredients that makes up a class. So if you look here, we have ingredients, we have burger, we have soup, we have chips, we have Coke, we have the chicken there, the fried chicken. Look at this thing. All these things are classes on their own, because the chips also needs this box for wrapping the chips. It also needs salt, it also needs spice, and also tomato sauce. So it's a class on its own, but it's an ingredient when it comes to what? To the fully loaded box meal. So composition is what? Ingredients that make up a class. So if you go to the core class, so okay, let's look on how to introduce inheritance composition on making. Let's make a fully loaded class on the code. So let's create a new project, then console application, then KFC fully loaded. So if you look at KFC, they have their own system. Which determine when you go there, you just tell them, okay, I want the fully loaded box meal, then it makes it automatically. So if you wanna look behind the KFC screen, behind their computer has a fully loaded box meal. So what they do is that, okay, they ask you, okay, what is your order? You said fully loaded box meal. Then it calls the fully loaded box meal. It just calls it, okay, let's say your name is Mike. So they make a new fully loaded box meal for Mike. Exactly the same time when you order, like they make a new fully loaded box meal for you, especially for you. So there's a fully loaded box meal created for you. Then after, they ask you, do you want large Coke or medium? So they can say medium. So let me so they say medium for Coke. Or they just make a new Coke with a new fully loaded. Then they said Mike dot what? Add medium. They say medium. For Coke, let's say add Coke. That's a mutator method. So okay, when they click on the screen, you said, okay, your name is Mike and you want a fully loaded. They ask you, okay, do you want Coke or not? Do you want Coke? Do you want medium Coke or large or extra large if they have extra large Coke. So okay, then there's Mike wants a medium Coke, right? And then okay, there's Tandeka. There's Tandeka on another till. Okay, Tandeka is that the difference here is that Tandeka wants a small Coke. She doesn't want a large Coke. So for Tandeka, they ask her, okay, what size of Coke do you want? She says small. It creates a new class, small. Then it creates small Coke. So it created a new fully loaded with small Coke. Then they can ask them, okay, Mike, do you need your Coke, your fully loaded with medium chips or large chips? So every time they ask you individually, the computer on the background, it calls the immutator for changing, it calls the accessor for accessing the method. So here we want to add chips. Add chips, you can say small. Then Mike has small chips, has bought small chips. So with composition, what we understand is that now on that machine, they can say, okay, they can call Mike dot print. When they call the print method, that's when you actually see the receipt. Like it says, okay, you have bought fully loaded box meal. It will tell you have bought fully loaded box meal. You have medium Coke and all those chips, burger included things on the slip. So what the computer does in the background, it's using this code, like it creates a new fully loaded class for that particular person. After it prints here, it can say Mike dot delete when they call the destruct. So they call the delete method. Then you are deleted from that order is deleted from the screen. Then they can say, they ask, okay, next customer. So that's how the system works. You ask them, okay, I want streetwise 2. They create streetwise 2 for Mike. If you say streetwise 2, they create a new streetwise 2. Okay, do you want Coke? You said yes. They add Coke to that streetwise 2. They asked you for size. You said medium. It adds it to the Mike. After print, then you pay. Then there's Mike pay. If you are paying, there's Mike pay. You pay. Method card or method cash. So that's basically how the system works. So if you look at the code, we're gonna create a new class which is fully loaded. So let me cancel. So we're gonna create a new, let me create a class straight, then it's called fully loaded. Loaded. That's the class name. Arguments will add them later. Destructor as copy constructor inherits from another class. No. Fully loaded.h, fully loaded.cpp, implementation. So okay, then we create a new class. It has created a new class, fully loaded. So we've created a new class and then we've added it to our current project. So if you look at our fully loaded CPP is the constructor where the create and the destructor fully loaded and the copy constructor. So if you go to the header file, this is the fully loaded class. So we also need what? We also need chips class. We also need we need chips class. If you look at the objects, the things we need chips class, we need chicken class, we need burger class, we need soup class, we need coke class. So let's create all those classes. So we need coke class. This is the class for coke. Arguments, no. Destructor, constructor, yes. Finish coke class. Yes, we add coke class to the new project. We create a new class. We want chips class. Chips class. We create a new class, chips class. We add it to our project. We create another class. We need chicken class. We need chicken class. It creates it. We add it to our project. And then what do we need? Chicken, chips, chicken, coke. We need the soup class. We need soup class. So it creates a new soup class. We add it to the new project. Creates a soup class. We need, lastly, we need burger class. We need the burger class, so it's burger. Creates a new burger class. Yes. Okay, so we are done here. So now we go to the fully loaded class. So on the fully loaded class, fully loaded, remember, fully loaded is the thing that includes all those things. Fully loaded is this thing that has all burger, chicken, chips, coke, soup inside. Because if you look here, there's chips we have. So on the fully loaded class, we need, the first thing we need is to include. So our first step is to include all those classes in the fully loaded class, because as you see, the fully loaded is it has all those things. So we include, firstly we include what? There's burger. We include chips. We include chicken also. We include chips. So it's called chips. Yeah. So we have chips, we have burger, we have chicken, we need coke. We also need what? We need soup. Lastly, we need soup. So all of these are the things that make up a fully loaded class. So a fully loaded has burger, has chips, has coke, has soup. So step 2 for composition, you need to call the names. Call. So for call, as I call step 2 call, look there on the picture, on the fully loaded. Call is that, okay, we have a box, it includes them, but we need to put them inside. So when you see, if you look at KFC when they make the fully loaded meal, like they bring chips, another person brings chips, another one brings coke, another one brings chicken, and another one brings a burger and the soup. So what they do is that they bring and then they add them inside the coke. So how do we add them? We call them by their name. We call someone who has chips, we call someone who has soup, we call someone who has the burger and the coke. So what happens here? We just call class you do that, you call all of them here so that we know, okay, these things are included on this class. Call, what else? We need coke, we call coke. What else do we need? We need soup, we call soup. What else do we need? We need chicken, we call what? chicken. So how many things here? We have 5, there we have 5, so we're done with calling. So when you go to your protected, now we're not talking about inheritance, so now we don't need protected. So here when you go to your private, you add those variables. Now you can say so we have what? A new beggar. You need to add them under private because it has a relationship, so you can add them here because they're coming here as variables, as ingredients. Remember that they're coming here as ingredients, so they're coming here as ingredients. We have burger, we have chips. So this is step 3. So this is step 3. We add ingredients, chips, new chips, and then we have what? We have Coke, new Coke, what else do we need? We have soup, what? New soup. So also after soup we have what? We have chicken. We have added, although we don't have chicken, so we have chicken. So we have new chicken there. So here we're saying that, okay, so remember when I was using the notepad, look here, we have a method add Coke, but remember now all these things are under what? All these things are under the fully loaded meal. So how do we add them to the fully loaded meal? We need them here so that we can change the variables. If Mike wants a different thing, we need to change it through here. You can call it through here. So for example, we can go to the Coke class and say, let's add a variable on the Coke class. We can say void. We can for private we can say int size. We can have string size. String size. So this is the size of the Coke. Is it medium? Is it large? Is it small? So here you can have void set size. It takes a string, which is a mutator method size, like that. So we have these two methods on the Coke class. So we go to Coke, then we add those two methods here, then they are under Coke, so we have to take this, then add it here, then that remove, and also that remove, then we have that here, then we put the size is fine, it's just a variable. So yeah, then for set size, this one is for setting, right? So here we have what? We have size. This size is equal to that size. We just add another one there so that it can be, yeah. So we have that. We have that size, yeah. So we're saying size equal to size. So if we go, let's go to the fully loaded class. So here, if you look here, we have a method here. Let's have a method void set Coke. So you can set Coke through what? Through the fully loaded, so that we don't have to go straight to the fully loaded every time. So here we'll be talking about, this is they call it aggregation, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, aggregation. So what happens here is that we have set Coke. It takes a string size. right? So we have void set coke. Then on set coke, when you go to set coke on the fully loaded OCPP, here we have that method. Let's add that method here. When you add that method here, we call what? The new coke method. So we call the new coke. Let's firstly go there. What are the variables? New coke, new coke. Then you can say new coke that side. New coke this side, that side on the fully loaded. You can say new coke. We call which method? There's a method on the coke class which is called what? Set size. Then you go to the fully loaded, then you just call set size, then it says the size to what? To that size which is local to that. So that's okay. Then here we said what? We say new coke is equal to what? New what? New what? It's equals to new coke. So that's that. So from there we have set new coke. Here we giving, when you call set coke from fully loaded, it sets the size for coke there straight. So if we go to, let's see our classes, what's missing so far. I think there's not, let me see. So as you see, you have the void set coke, then say string is not included. Now we just need to include iostream and using namespace std. So we need all this in all of our classes. Copy, then fully loaded.h, it also needs that. Using namespace std. So let's run, because that's the only class that has the namespace std. So if you look here, it says that okay, we want to set the size. We want to set the size for the new coke. So there's void set coke. So the problem there was just that we only needed to include what? New fully loaded to tell it okay, this is from the fully loaded class. So let's see. Okay, as you see here, it says set size, and if you look set size, where's set size from? So let's just repeat this method. So it's called what? New what? It's called new coke, which is from the coke class. What do we want from new coke? We want which variable? Set size. What do we put in set size? It needs size. So this is how we call methods from a class, from ingredient class, because remember our definition for composition is that composition is what? It's ingredients. If you go up, let's go up for the definition. Composition is ingredients that make up a class. So to use the ingredients in the class, we need to use this pointing. We need to use this. So for aggregation, when you do composition, you need to do this, and then on the constructor you have to set that class as a new what? As a new coke, because you're setting a new coke under what? Under fully loaded. So for everything that we have that side, even chicken, we have to set, it's called what? It's called new chicken. So new chicken is equal to what? New chicken class. So it's a new chicken from the chicken class, because we need to have it in our class. We have what? New burger is equal to what? From the burger class. You take it from the burger class, so it's like that. Then we have new what? We have new soup, which is from what? The soup class. So new what? Soup. Then we have what? The last one, soup, chicken, chips. We have new chips. New chips is equals to what? New chips. It's equals to new from the chips class. So that's how we do composition. So here you are adding all of those things. Okay. And then here you're using its method. That's when you use its method. If they ask you there on the notes, on exams or notes, they asked you, okay, we want you to use composition. This is where you use functions from the ingredient sides. These are functions. Set size is not from what? It's not from fully loaded, but it's a method from what? From Coke class. So it's the method from Coke class because we have set size here, which says the size of what? Of the Coke. So if here we set the size, we can set the size through the fully loaded to what? To the Coke class. So that's the good thing about in composition. So what we learned from here, what I can do is that I can use, let me create, we'll just make the Coke only. So lastly, I can have void print. We just have void print just to show to the screen what's the size of our Coke. So void print. So it's called void print. It just prints to the screen. So if we take it that side to the Coke.cpp, we have a new void print which just prints, tells you the size of your Coke. Okay, void print. So what happens here? Just see out. Let's just see out size. So it just tells you the size of Coke which you ordered, so that we know, okay, from the examples that we used. If you check if you go to the left, we had Mike. So the print, Mike had a print. So if Mike prints on the receipt, it tells them Coke, then the size of Coke, then it also tells them it's ordered. So here on the, if you go back to the fully loaded, we can have on the header file, we can have the public method called void print Coke state, void print Coke state, print Coke. So this one just tells us, okay, what's the size of the Coke. So if you look here, this method, now we're taking it to the implementation file, the CPP file, which is this side. So if you look here, now this was the set size. Now we have what? Void print, which is from which class? Which is part of the fully loaded class. So if we put it here, what we need from there is that, what do we need? We need to call what? New Coke. The new Coke that we have in our class, we need to call it. And then what happens when you call it? We want to access its member. It has print member, so we call print. You see? So we just call the method that was already created in the print, in the Coke class, which is what? Print. So if we're talking about composition, and if when you see this sign, it means composition, it means aggregation, it happens with composition. You're calling the member from the Coke class. What's the member? It's the print. Okay, we're done from that part. So now we go to our main. From our main, we include what? We only include one class, which is what? Fully loaded class included. Now what do? We call fully loaded. Who's the buyer for the fully loaded? Remember, it was Mike. Then Mike, what do you have? We want to set Coke. Mike wants his own size. Mike wants medium Coke. Yeah, Mike wants medium Coke. So medium Coke. Okay, then Mike, then we see out, okay, there's the order number. When you see Coke at KFC, they tell you order number, then see out and line. Then it tells you order number, then it tells you the cashier, see out, it's cashier, né? Yeah, I don't know if the spelling is wrong, but cashier, then it's Davis. So for cashier we have Davis. Then we have what? We also have, so we're making a receipt for that fully loaded meal. So we have time or date. We just have, let's have date. Then we have what? Lastly, you can have date, which is like, okay, today is the 31st of August 2018. So that's the date on the receipt. So it also, what do we need also? So for a receipt, maybe we can have this at the top, can have that, just have a bunch of stars, then that's that. And at the end we also need them, bunch of stars at the end. Okay, yeah, we have a bunch of stars. So we're making a receipt and line, then cashier Davis, then okay, the cashier is Davis. Then what do we need here? Let's go there. So from here now we have order number. We have an order number which is 12230. Cashier is Davis. Date 31st of August. Okay, yeah, we can change here to, what else do we need for an order? You can just say fully loaded box meal. Then it tells you that it's how many, it costs 65 rand. So it's like that. Then see out end line. Then we call what? We call Mike dot. So Mike is categorizing his Coke. So print Coke. We call the print Coke. So this is how we do it. So we have Mike. Let's see out end line here and add more receipt. So every time it makes a receipt. So we have see out end line here. So now we have Mike. Then let's make 3 customers. Yeah, 3 customers. So we have these 2, then we have the last one. So here, this is not Mike, she's called Suzanne. So we have Suzanne, she wants a fully loaded box meal. Then Suzanne print Coke. Suzanne is a heavy drinker, so she needs large Coke. Then we have what? After Suzanne we have who? We can have what? Names. We can have, yeah, we can have someone like John. Yeah, let's have John. So John doesn't like drinking Coke that much, so small. Then print Coke. Yeah, it's what? It's John. Remember, we need to change everything to John because John is a new customer. John is not Mike. John is here. Then okay, yeah, we need Suzanne here. So we have John, Suzanne, and Mike. Okay, so here is Suzanne's order is number 4 because it comes after Mike. Cashier is still Davis, the date is still the same. Then this is order number 5. So let's build and see what are the problems. So here we didn't have end line, so it will be okay, end line. Then there's an here we made a problem here, we need to do that. Then what? Then we have end, or the end here, it's end line for Suzanne, and also we need to fix it here, it's end line. So let's build. So fully loaded box mail. So let's run and see what happens with the receipt. So this is the receipt that comes out to our class. Okay, the first order, it's order number 12203. Cashier is Davis, date is 31st of August 2018. Fully loaded box mail 65, medium Coke ordered. So for this order number 12203, medium Coke was ordered. And then where is this called? This is called through what? Through the fully loaded class. Now we have order number 12204, which is the next order after order 03. Who's the cashier? Cashier still Davis, date still 31st. Fully loaded box meal plus 65, large Coke ordered. So for this meal, this customer wants a large Coke. Then the next order 12205, cashier is Davis, 31st, fully loaded box meal. What the size of the Coke? Small size ordered. So if you look here, we called John.set size, which is, where is John from? From fully loaded. So fully loaded, where's fully loaded? If we go to fully loaded, we have what? We have set Coke from fully loaded. If we go here to the main, let's go to our main. We have set Coke, it's from the fully loaded, but we have what here? Set size for individual Coke. So if we go to the fully loaded class, I want to go to the CPP file. Yeah, we have the set Coke. Set Coke, what happens to the set Coke? It calls a method which is from what? From the Coke class, which is called what? Set size. So this right here is important to remember. So for composition, remember this thing when you're calling a method from what? From the ingredient, because Coke is an ingredient of what? Of fully loaded, because this is an ingredient. So this one takes us back to our definition of composition. Ingredients that make up a class. So ingredients that makes up a class. What are the ingredients? What do we need? So for us here today, if we're looking at composition, just use the word ingredients. And when you're trying to understand coding more, you need to have practical examples. Use more practical examples. Don't just say, when you listen to it, picture it as something that happens in the actual reality, something that's there, that's already there. Picture it like an order. If you go to KFC every time, they can say, okay, if we say where do we stay? We stay in Auckland Park. We can say here, when you check the order, every time when you order, it does tell you the shop name. It can tell you every time when you see the slips, when they can start like this, like okay, it tells you KFC Campus Square, KFC Campus Square. Like, it tells you Campus Square, KFC Campus Square. Then they also what tell you their number. They tell you their numbers, like tells us 01011, and then lastly that, and also emails KFC camp at kfc.com, right? So it's KFC camp at kfc.com. So me using this practical example now, it's for you to understand it more with a practical example, something that's real, something that you've seen. You've seen a receipt, you've seen a fully loaded box meal. It has a receipt, it tells you the order number, it tells you what you ordered. If you added a large Coke, it tells you, okay, large Coke. So it tells you everything. So here, let's run, build and run. And then if you look now at the receipt that comes out now, it tells you KFC Campus Square, the number of that KFC, the email, order number, cashier, date, fully loaded box meal, 65 rand medium. You see, every time you do that, it generates new slips. If let's say John is with someone, John wants to order 2 Cokes. What happens is he ordered small times 2. So it calls what? Set Coke method. Then it tells it what? John ordered what? Times 2. If you look down there, it tells you what? Small times 2 Coke ordered. So that's a practical example. So if you wanna learn coding more, use more practical example than use something that you understand. So what is composition? Composition is what? It's ingredients that makes up a class. Ingredients. We need eggs, we need berries, we need nuts, we need apple, we need cherry, we need that, we need all of these things. We need strawberries, we need those things that make coffee. You see them, we need chocolate. All these things makes up one thing. Maybe here they're making a cake, but these are the ingredients. Egg on its own is a class. Berries on its own is a class. Nuts on their own, their classes. Even strawberries on their own, their classes. So if we take in composition, take it as ingredients that makes up a class. So ingredients, things that we add together to make what? On our example, things that we add together to make a fully loaded box meal. So this is the fully loaded box meal. If you look here, this is the fully loaded box meal. Things we add together to make what? The fully loaded box meal. What do we need? We need chips. What do we need? We need Coke. What do we need? We need chicken. What do we need? We need burger. What do we need? We need soup. But at the end of the day, all those things make up what? A fully loaded class. So composition are ingredients that makes up a class. Understand that idea, then I'm going to upload this code on GitHub. So look on my link, then you'll see a GitHub link. So go and download this thing, because as you've seen, we only fill the Coke, what we need for Coke, but on our text file, if you go back to our text file here, let's reduce the font so that you can see. So a task that you can give yourself, you can download the code that I'll upload, this code, and fill all these things and add these things, and also this text file I'll also upload it to the GitHub. So the link will be on YouTube also. So add these things to the chips. We need salt. Add all these things, play around with them, make the receipt, and check to better understand composition with a practical example. Go and fill all those other classes, because they are all the other classes are not filled. The chicken class is not filled. We need the spice with chicken. Go and fill the spice. Learn by something which is practical, and go and make your own practical example, and then understand them, so that when you go to your assignments in class, you can do them understand them, better understanding using practical. So a step 1 for if I can erase all this, okay, no, I can't erase it now because I'm going to upload this file to you guys. So I'll just edit it first, then so what I want to show you guys is that if you want to learn code, step 1 for learning code, it's what? use practical examples. Step 2, use something you understand most. Something that you understand. So I'll save this file, then I'll upload it to you guys also. So check the link. So with composition, everything, use, even I'm going to upload, the next video will be inheritance, and then after inheritance then we can do the UJ image, UJ colors, we'll do the colors after that. But understanding something using a practical example, because that's the best. Understanding all this using a practical example. Medium Coke ordered, 1 Coke. Small ordered, how many? 2 small Cokes ordered. So using practical example, it makes you understand something more, way better than just doing what they ask. You can't understand code from doing what people are asking. Just try to imagine it and picture it, because now composition is being used at KFC, composition is being used at all companies, at banks it's being used. Find a practical example to understand it better. But your task, you just need to fill all these classes. They are all empty. You need to fill them for your better understanding for composition. Thank you.